the questions are guilty until proven innocent in a court of law. This is told someone. First question is from Jonathan Stern. Why in the live-action version of their Prince Ali song did they show ostriches in the exotic type mammals line? Well, of course, as you might already know, ostriches aren't birds, okay? Ostriches aren't birds, but they are birds. They are birds, but they don't fly. Mammals fly, like bats. Bats fly, bats are mammals. Ostriches are not mammals, and they don't fly. And they are so exotic that they branched off our evolutionary line like 150 million years ago. So, in that way, they are as exotic type mammals as we can get. I mean, I'm a mammal, so I've flown. I've flown to, like, London and stuff. That's preceding another question, though, so I'm not going to go into that at the moment. Next question is from Serious Mind. Do you ever leave Australia? And if you do, where do you go? Well, I went to London. I gave spoilers for that question and this question. But I went to London and Japan and Bali. But I'm Bali on the way to London. And that's it. I haven't been anywhere else. If you want to pay me to go somewhere else, and I will, but why would you want me to leave Australia? That's what I'm asking. Why do you want me to leave Australia? I mean, when there's Scott Morrison who should leave Australia and never come back, but not as ambassador, like as something else. Next question is, it's not as funny as like saying Abbott should go, but that's who we've got at the moment. I mean he's substandard, but he's not really all that funny. I mean, I'd just like a good one. Next question is from Serious Mind? No, from Joe Freddy. Considering events of recent years in different places around the world, it's time to change to a system of watery tarts handing out swords as a method of selecting who governs. Well, yeah, it is a time. I mean, look, watery bitches with swords also do have a problem. I mean, where are the swords going to come from? I mean, and how many swords is a mandate? I don't know. I don't know how many men date the watery broads, but I mean, it could be quite a few. And you know, if there's a bit of nepotism involved, a man would have to actually date several of those watery bitches with the swords. And you see where I'm coming from. I mean, you know, it's going to become a problem with the swords and the stones where the swords get stuck in. And you don't want your sword stuck in a stone, is what I'm saying. You know? Put two and two together? Yeah. Next question is from the Emperor Fabulous. I see that the quadricycles have once again invaded your sanctuary. Is there a seasonal occurrence, or do the drop bears summon them when they get angry? Of course, the quadricycles are over there this time. There's quite a few quadricycles, and some of the trucks have 6. So, what we're going to do is we're going to try to ignore them until they start making a hell of a racket, and then the birds will drown them out eventually. Once it starts getting so dark that they start yelling at me. Next question is from Canadian Atheist. What $4 wine goes bet with a cat food sandwich? Of course, that $4 wine, of course, would be Diet Pepsi. I mean, there are other $4 wines out there, but you take some Diet Pepsi and you put a bit of sugar in it and you put it on the radiator, and that's a great accompaniment for a cat food sandwich. If you have a radiator. I don't have a radiator because it's Australia, and Australia doesn't need radiators because the winters are not that cold. I mean, we don't even have snow right now, or ever. Next question is F. Who hid the halibut on the poop deck? I did for the halibut. Halibut. No. The halibut asked me, and I said no, and I just hid it on the poop deck so it wouldn't keep on harassing me. I did it to the halibut, not for the halibut. Rolf Nichols asks, did you know some horses grow some beautiful moustaches? Well, yes. I mean, horses, some of them would grow beautiful moustaches, and I'm quite jealous of the moustaches and other appendages horses may or may not have, depending on whether they've been, shaved off or whatever. So, in short, trying to avoid the question completely. Well, actually, I didn't. I mean, there are horses out there with big spikes coming from their head, and they're called unicorns, and they don't exist. Well, they do exist, except they're rhinoceroses. But in the Bible, it says so. So therefore, it's completely irrelevant to reality. Matched asks, I don't like running. Could I just bike for politics instead? That's an answer to the dovetail question, so I'm not going to read that out loud, except I did. Bob In asks, why should I run for politics when the author Mark Twain says that America has the best Congress money can buy? Also, why do Aussies call their Conservatives Liberals? Okay, so we've got a couple of questions there, and I'm going to answer just the last one because I've actually got something to say about that one instead of like the nothing I just keep on rabbiting on about with the other questions that I had like for the last 8 years. Anyway, how do I say this without going full Sargon? I'm going to have to go full Sargon. Cut away from me. I don't want to do this to camera. The Nazis were National Socialists. Okay. Yeah. Look, it's not quite like that. I mean, they did take the word liberal and make it into the name for their party, and it's not quite like they were National Socialists calling themselves socialists. It was more like they were being neoliberal. Okay, it's kind of like being liberal, but only for rich people. Very live and let live. Let the market decide. Then make all the regulations as loose as possible, so the rich people can get rich. Otherwise, it's also known as classical liberal. Last question for the day comes from Robert Bow. In America, we have constitutional freedoms that are interpreted so broadly that our kids can't even go to their English classes without us worrying if they're going to go to another massacre. What kind of punishment is there in Australia for violating pun control laws? Well, the punishments for puns are many and varied, but it's mostly to do with forcing them to listen to a whole lot more plays on words. But they're not quite plays on words. They're not quite double meanings, double entendres, that sort of thing. And so they're only pun-ish. Let's tell someone for this week. If you would like to ask me a question, then ask me a question in the place for asking questions down below. Or you can answer this dovetail question if you possibly can avoid it. Over there. Yep, there's a dovetail question. Right there. Excellent. So you've got your dovetail question, you've got the questions, of course, in the question asking place. That means I must be able to sign off now because I have a lot of milkshake to wash off my face. I'm dangerously talented and I don't have a cool sign off, apparently.